I'm at the Exploratorium Science Museum here in San Francisco, and this is one of the most sustainable buildings that you can find in the city. We'll find out a bit more about that later. I was very, very lucky enough to actually work here 2 years ago and experience such the joys of learning of science and hands-on learning of science, and high school groups coming in and learning about how the world works and how sustainability and the environment, go hand in hand. And so for this Geogramblings video blog, I am on location here, and I'm going to take you to some of the most sustainable sites that you can find here in the city of San Francisco and in other places across the bay.
Located on Pier 15 and 17 on the Embarcadero in San Francisco, California, the Exploratorium is a public learning laboratory exploring the world through science, art and human perception. And their vision is a world where people think for themselves and can confidently ask questions, question answers and understand the world around them. One of their core values is sustainability, and the Exploratorium certainly walks the walks as well as talks the talk, as their loose cannon, Ron Hipschman, explains.
So when we moved here to the Exploratorium on the Embarcadero from the Palace of Fine Arts, we wanted to build a really sustainable building. And so some of that is the electricity we generate, and we generate most of our own electricity up here on the roof. If you see behind me, we have 5,874 solar panels on our roof, and that can generate about 1.3 megawatts of power. It's about enough power for a little under 90% of our needs here at the Exploratorium. We're working on increasing that because eventually we want it to be 100% of our needs. We want to be net zero. And net zero means that we, on the balance, don't use any power that we're not producing. Now, of course, during the day, when the sun's out, we produce more power than we need. That 1.3 megawatts is more power than we need. But at night, we have to draw energy from our local power company, Pacific Gas and Electric, PG&E. But on the balance, over a year, for instance, we hope to get to the point where we are net zero. Now, the part of the energy usage comes in when we want to heat and cool the building. So we had to make a super efficient way to heat and cool the building. And the way we do that is we have a radiant floor, which means our cement floor inside the museum has pipes running through it. And those pipes we can run hot or cold water through. Now, normally this is pretty expensive because you have to heat water and cool water. We use the bay water. We're above the bay, so we have that water, and we can actually draw heat out of that water using heat pumps, or we can put heat into that water using the same heat pumps. Actually, the heat pumps just take the bay water and they make hot and cold water at the same time, and then we can put either the hot or cold water through the pipes and heat or cool the building. So that's a really efficient way to heat and cool the building. Otherwise, you have to have air conditioners. You have to make the air hot and cold, and that's really expensive. And you have to have, if you have air conditioners, you have to have condensers on your roof, and condensers have to have chillers. Chillers use fresh water. So not doing that, we're also saving 2 million gallons of water, fresh water a year, which here in California is important because we often have droughts. We also are gathering water from this roof in cisterns so that after it rains, we have a good supply of water, and we use that water to flush toilets and do gray water kind of activities. We've even gone as far, we have an exhibit, the bridge, I don't know if you can see it in the shot, but the fog bridge that uses a lot of fresh water, and especially during the drought, we didn't want to use that fresh water. And so we actually installed in Pier 17, the other part of our property, a saltwater desalinization plant. So we're taking bay water, taking the salt out of it, and then we can use that fresh water for that exhibit. So we're trying to be as sustainable as possible. Because of that sustainability, our building was awarded a LEED Platinum certification, and that's a very hard to get certification from LEED. They award, copper, silver, bronze, gold, platinum, whatever it is, and so we have that certification as well.
There are numerous other examples of sustainability at the Exploratorium. For For example, a parking lot was replaced with a public plaza with educational exhibits promoting awareness of the surrounding environment. There's bike parking located throughout the site, and its new location at Pier 15-17 is accessible by several means of public transportation, including the bus, streetcar and the BART public transportation system. As an example of social sustainability, field trip and high school explainers learn on the job to educate others. Education is exceptionally important to the Exploratorium.
In addition to trying to be very sustainable at the Exploratorium, we're also trying to monitor the environment. And so we have an instrumentation pad here on our roof where we have a lot of very interesting instruments and sensors to monitor the environment. So we actually have 2 weather stations. We are monitoring carbon dioxide in 4 different places. We are monitoring lightning. We're monitoring the instrument that's over there, the radiometer, the thing that looks like a mailbox. That's actually monitoring the temperature and humidity up to 10 kilometers up in the atmosphere by looking at microwaves passively coming in from the sky. So we're doing a lot of interesting environmental monitoring. We also have a radar antenna on a different roof that's measuring the surface currents in the bay. And in our over on the other side of the building here, we have instruments in the bay that are measuring all kinds of water quality measurements as well. So things like crude oil, refined oil, phytobacteria, chlorophyll, oxygen, turbidity, temperature, conductivity, salinity, all these kind of things we're measuring all the time. And all that data we're making available to the public, anyone who wants it. It's all on our website. So if you're interested, if you want to play with data, want to look at how things, whether one thing affects another thing, you can just play with that data on our website.
The data from these instruments can be explored on the exhibit floor as well as the web, using these interactive terminals. These all form part of Gallery 6, the Fisher Bay Observatory, which all focuses on the environment surrounding the Exploratorium. The space is dynamic, where the exhibits can be moved away for public talks. This talk, for example, is all about how sea level rise is affecting the communities in the bay, and so these community talks are very, very important for the social sustainability of the area. The Bay Area strives for a sustainable integrated transport network. The Mission Bay Shuttle, for example, is free and open to the public to try and reduce car journeys. There's an extensive bus and railcar system, and bike lanes have been installed throughout the Bay Area, especially in San Francisco City, with the Sustainable Development Goal aim of having 20% of all journeys by bicycle by the end of 2020. And the Bay Area Rapid Transport System, or BART for short, is an extensive subway system that runs across much of the Bay Area. And across the bay from San Francisco is Berkeley, where I stayed during my time in the Bay Area. I shop regularly here at the Berkeley Bowl. It seems like your regular supermarket, and to an extent much of it is, except this little tiny room at the very, very back. Here, in order to keep food waste down, any fresh produce that is about to go out of date but is still sellable is offered at a discount price for the customers to take home. Just down the street from Berkeley Pole was this place, the Urban Ore Eco Park. For me, an absolute treasure trove of sustainability. When I first stepped inside Urban Ore, I could not believe my eyes. Every single thing that I was seeing had been reclaimed, recovered, recycled, donated. Every single one of these things have been pre-loved and have been kept out of landfill. Clothes, hardware, tools, houseware, kitchenware, cutlery, toys, and outside bits of building materials, solar panels, bathroom fixtures, you name it, they probably have it. Here is Urban Ore's Operations Manager, Max Wexler, to tell us some more.
Urban Ore's mission is to end the age of waste. That's what it is. We are born out of the environmental movement from the 1970s, and primarily we are a mission-oriented for-profit organization. It's a mom and pop, and our mission is to keep all this stuff out of the landfill and to recirculate it through the local economy and community. We know that in 2018 we salvaged 824 tons directly from going to the landfill at the transfer station. So we salvage at the transfer station. I don't know whether you know this, but we have a crew at the dump, the Berkeley Regional Refuse Transfer Station, rescuing about 3 tons a day on average to bring back here to sell for reuse or recycle. And that's how I got started here on the salvage team in 2011. So that truck gets weighed every day we pull out of the transfer station, so we know exactly to the very pound how much weight we're rescuing directly from the landfill. But we estimate that that's only 20% of our inventory here. Most of the stuff comes here from the public dropping it off. We provide the disposal service to the public. They don't want their stuff anymore. They're happy to give it to us. It's convenient for them. They don't have to pay to get rid of it like they would at the transfer station. They're happy that it's getting another life. Sometimes we do pay out cash or stored credit for certain high-end items to encourage and incentivize a good supply of things coming in here. So we guess that between 7,000 and 8,000 tons is what moves through our doors annually.
So, environmental and economical, check. But what about social and community?
Community is a funny word. It encompasses so much, and there is a very vibrant community surrounding this place. It's intangible. You just met Vinny. He's part of our community since 1992. And we have regular people who shop here every single day. A lot of artists, teachers, creative people who meet here and form relationships. I just responded to an email for a former employee who's working on a project, an artistic project with a mobile sort of art gallery. This kitted out truck that he's making out of materials that he's buying from here. Partnering with an organization called the Luggage Store in San Francisco, which is art by unhoused people. So I just gave him a discount, to shop here, to promote what he's doing. So that's just an example from, half an hour ago.
While I was staying in the Berkeley and Ashby area, I really did notice that people here were quite environmentally conscious. There were these community gardens and allotments all over the place, particularly proud of looking after bees to help pollinate their produce. There have been arguments and debates to suggest that San Francisco is California's most sustainable city, in what people may think is the most progressive and environmentally conscious state in the USA. Well, you've seen some examples. What do you think? But I'd like to think, with what I've seen so far, they're moving in the right direction.
So thanks for watching. I hope you found that very informative and enjoyable. I'm not quite sure how many on-location videos I will do, or whether I'll go as far-flung as San Francisco. Perhaps they'll be a bit more close to home in the United Kingdom. But please make sure that if you like this video and the other Geogramblings video that are on the playlist, please make sure you subscribe and also find me on Facebook and Twitter with the name Geogramblings, and you can like and follow those pages. So until next time, thanks very much.